Welcome to the new class of Social Studies of class 5. Today we are going to learn chapter 13. The name of the chapter is Important Monarchs of India. Important Monarchs of India. Monarch means king. Important kings of India. And our country has a rich historical past. Already we know that our country has a rich historical past. So in the past, a number of powerful kings ruled over different part of India. So in the past, a number of powerful kings ruled over different part of India. They made great contributions. They made great participation to the cultural life of our country. So the important kings made great contributions to the cultural life of the country. So in this chapter, we are going to learn some important monarchs of India. First one, Ashoka the Great. Ashoka the Great. Ashoka is regarded as one of the greatest rulers of our country. Ashoka is considered one of the greatest rulers of our country. He belonged to the Mauryan dynasty. He be a member of the Mauryan family, Mauryan dynasty. Dynasty means family. His grandfather Chandragupta Maurya and father Bindusara were great emperors. So his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya. What was the name of the Ashoka's grandfather? Chandragupta Maurya. And what was the name of his father? Bindusara. So his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya and his father Bindusara were great emperors, great rulers. They had conquered most of the country. They had Conquer means to gain by force of arms. Conquer means to gain by force of arms. To gain by force of arms. So they had conquered most of the country. Ashoka's father and grandfather conquered most of the country. Ashoka succeeded to this vast empire in 274 BC. BC means before Christ. BC means before Christ. Ashoka succeeded. Succeeded means achieved. Ashoka achieved to this vast empire, this vast kingdom in 274 BC. He ruled it for 42 years. How many years he ruled that country? He ruled it for 42 years. And he inherited bravery from his ancestors. He received bravery. Bravery means courage or boldness. And he inherited bravery from his ancestors, his forefathers. So Ashoka received bravery or boldness from his forefathers. Soon after he came to the throne, Ashoka set out to conquer the kingdom of Kalinga. So soon after he came to the royal power, Ashoka set out, Ashoka arranged to conquer the kingdom of Kalinga. Kalinga War. Have you heard about Kalinga War? So soon after Ashoka came to the throne, Ashoka set out to conquer the kingdom of Kalinga. Kalinga War took place BC 261. Kalinga War took place BC 261. So the people of Kalinga fought very bravely. The people of Kalinga fought very fearlessly, bravely, fearlessly, courageously. Yet they were defeated by Ashoka. Who won that war? Ashoka. Ashoka won that war. Thousands of people were killed and wounded in the war. Thousands of people were killed and wounded in that war. Thousands of people killed and wounded in Kalinga war. And several thousand people were taken prisoners. Several thousand people were taken prisoners. They put into prison. A large number of children became orphans. A child whose parents are dead, they are known as orphan. A child whose parents are dead, they are known as orphan. So a large number of children became orphans and many women became widows. Widow means a woman whose spouse has died and who has not married again. They are known as widow. So a large number of children became orphans and many women became widows in the Kalinga War. The battlefield became a pool of blood. The battlefield became a pool of blood. Seeing these pathetic conditions, Ashoka's heart was moved with pity. So, seeing this pathetic condition, seeing this pitiful condition, Ashoka's heart was moved with pity, moved with kind. And he vowed never to wage a war again. He stopped war. He was transformed totally. He was changed totally. So, what was the after effect of Kalinga war? What was the after effect of Kalinga war? Thousands of people were killed and wounded in the war. Thousands of people were killed and wounded in the war. Several thousands people were taken prisoners. A large number of children became orphans and many women became widows. Many women became widows. The battlefield became a pool of blood. These are the important after effects of the Kalinga war. And the main important after effect was that Ashoka stopped war. He was transformed totally. He was changed totally. After the Kalinga war, Ashoka embraced Buddhism. After the Kalinga war, Ashoka accepted or Ashoka received Buddhism. He followed Buddha's teachings and practiced ahimsa. Ashoka followed Buddha's teachings and practiced ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence. Ahimsa means non-violence. So, after the Kalinga war, Ashoka accepted Buddhism. Ashoka received Buddhism. He followed Buddha's teachings and practiced ahimsa or non-violence. He spent the rest of his life in serving his people. Ashoka spent the rest of his life in serving his people and he taught them to lead a good life. Ashoka taught them to lead a good life. He built hospitals, roads and rest houses. Ashoka built hospitals, roads and rest houses. He lived as a Buddhist monk. So, what was the meaning of monk? What is the meaning of monk? A man in a religious order who lives a life of poverty. A man in a religious order who lives a life of poverty, like a sannyasi. That is the meaning of monks. He sent people to different parts of India and Sri Lanka to spread the teachings of the Buddha. Ashoka sent people to different parts of India and Sri Lanka for what? To spread the teachings of Buddha. He sent people to foreign countries like Sri Lanka for what? To spread the teachings of the Buddha. He was popularly known as the royal monks. Which king was popularly known as royal monk? Ashoka. Ashoka was popularly known as royal monk. And Ashoka's bravery, dedication and love for the people made him very popular and thus he gained the title Ashoka the Great. How was Ashoka gained the title Ashoka the Great? How Ashoka got the title Ashoka the Great? His bravery, dedication and love for the people made him very popular and thus he gained the title Ashoka the Great. His bravery, dedication and love for the people made him very popular and thus he gained the title Ashoka the Great. Next is Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II. Another name of the Chandragupta II was Vikramaditya. Vikramaditya is also known as Chandragupta II or Chandragupta II is also known as Vikramaditya. The death of Ashoka led to foreign invasions and quarrels over the throne in the Mauryan kingdom. The death of Ashoka, after the death of Ashoka, it led to which one? Foreign invasions. Invasions means being invaded by force. Attack. Invasions means attack or being invaded by force. Invasions and quarrels over the throne in the Mauryan kingdom. Throne means royal power. So, the death of Ashoka led to foreign invasions and quarrels over the throne in the Mauryan Empire or Mauryan kingdom. So, gradually the Mauryan dynasty declined. So, because of the foreign invasions, gradually Mauryan Empire declined. Decline means became smaller. So after the death of Ashoka, foreigners came here and they attacked the Mauryan Empire. Thus Mauryan Empire or Mauryan dynasty declined. Mauryan dynasty became smaller. Mauryan dynasty became smaller. Why? Because of the foreign invasions. So the Gupta dynasty came to power after Ashoka. So which dynasty came to power after Ashoka? The Gupta dynasty came to power after Ashoka. So after Ashoka, the Gupta dynasty came to power. The Gupta dynasty ruled over a large kingdom. The Gupta dynasty ruled over a large kingdom. Chandragupta first of the Gupta dynasty ruled from AD 322 about AD 330. So Chandragupta first was the first king of the Gupta dynasty. And he ruled from AD. AD means Anno Domini. Already you studied that. AD 322 about AD 330. 322 330. Who ruled in that period? Chandragupta first. Chandragupta first. He was succeeded by his son Samudragupta. And he was succeeded. Succeeded means to came next. To come next. Succeeded means to come next. He was succeeded by his son Samudragupta, who ruled the Gupta kingdom until AD 380. So until AD 380, who ruled there? Samudragupta. Samudragupta ruled Gupta dynasty or Gupta kingdom until AD 380. So AD 322 330 Chandragupta first up to 380 Samudragupta. Firstly Chandragupta first, after that Samudragupta. So he was a good king. Samudragupta was a good king. He was a good king. And he was a good warrior as well as a poet and a musician. Samudragupta was a good soldier. Samudragupta was a good fighter, warrior or soldier as well as a poet and a musician. Samudragupta built the famous Ajanta and Ellora caves. Have you heard about Ajanta and Ellora caves? Ajanta and Ellora caves. Where is it situated? In Maharashtra. In Maharashtra. So Samudragupta built the famous Ajanta and Ellora caves. They stand as the best examples of Gupta art. So which was the best examples of Gupta art? Or which is the best examples of Gupta art? Ajanta and Ellora caves. Ajanta and Ellora caves is the best examples of Gupta art. Who made it? Samudragupta built it. Samudragupta, under the leadership of Samudragupta, built the Ajanta and Ellora caves. It is in Maharashtra. Then Chandragupta II, the son of Samudragupta, ruled the Gupta kingdom from AD 382 about AD 415. So which was the period of Samudragupta II? AD 382 AD 415. So AD 322 330 Chandragupta first. AD 322 330 Chandragupta first up to AD 380 Samudragupta. Up to AD 380 Samudragupta. After that AD 382 AD 415. Who? Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II. And when he occupied the throne, he took the title Vikramaditya. Throne means royal power. Another meaning also there for throne, the chair on which a king sits on formal occasions or ceremony. It is also known as throne. The chair on which a king sits on formal occasions or ceremonies. That Malayalam meaning is Singhasanam. Okay, here throne means royal power. Royal power. So when Chandragupta II occupied the royal power, he took the title Vikramaditya. Which one? Vikramaditya. And he captured Malwa, Gujarat and Kathiawar. He captured Malwa, Gujarat and Kathiawar. Kathiawar is name of a place in India. Kathiawar is the name of a place in India. So Chandragupta Maurya or Chandragupta II, he was also known as Vikramaditya. He captured Malwa, Gujarat and Kathiawar. He captured Malwa, Gujarat and Kathiawar. And Vikramaditya was a powerful warrior as well as an able administrator. Vikramaditya was a powerful fighter or powerful soldier. Warrior means soldier or fighter as well as an able administrator. Administrator means manager or head of the department. Administrator means manager or head of the department. He was interested in the prosperity of his kingdom. And he was interested in the prosperity of his kingdom. Prosperity means good fortune. And Vikramaditya was interested in the good fortune of his kingdom, the welfare of his kingdom. And he was tolerant to all religions. He was open-minded. Tolerant means open-minded. He was open-minded to all religions. Ujjain was his capital. Ujjain is a city in Madhya Pradesh. Ujjain is the city of which one? In Madhya Pradesh. So Ujjain was his capital. So which was the capital of Vikramaditya? Ujjain. Ujjain was the capital of which one? Capital of Ujjain was the capital of that Gupta dynasty in the period of Vikramaditya. Then Vikramaditya encouraged learning. He gave more importance to learning. He had 9 of the greatest scholars and poets in his court. He had 9 of the greatest scholars. Scholars means highly educated people. Highly educated people or learned persons and poet in his court. They were known as Navaratnas. And or who were known as Navaratnas? The 9 greatest scholars and poet in Vikramaditya's court. They were known as Navaratnas. So Vikramaditya had 9 of the greatest scholars and poets in his court. They were known as Navaratnas. The great Sanskrit poet Kalidasa adorned his court. The great Sanskrit poet Kalidasa make more beautiful or more attractive his court. So adorn means make more beautiful, make more attractive. So among the Navaratnas, Kalidasa make more beautiful to his court. The famous play Shakuntalam was written by Kalidasa. The famous play Shakuntalam was written by Kalidasa. Who was the author of Shakuntalam? Kalidasa. Kalidasa was written by Shakuntalam. So Megha-Sandesham, Raghuvamsham and Kumara-Sambhavam, which are the poet works of Kalidasa, are very famous. So other important works of Kalidasa. Which are the important other works of Kalidasa? Megha-Sandesham, Raghuvamsham and Kumara-Sambhavam, which are the poetic works of Kalidasa, are very famous. So important poetic works of Kalidasa was which one? Megha-Sandesham, Raghuvamsham and Kumara-Sambhavam. These are the important poetic works of Kalidasa. One play also he wrote that was known as Shakuntalam. Shakuntalam was a play written by Kalidasa. Megha-Sandesham, Raghuvamsham and Kumara-Sambhavam, which are the poetic works of Kalidasa. So the Chinese traveller Fahian visited India during Vikramaditya's rule. The Chinese traveller, what was the name of Chinese traveller? Fahian. So Fahian visited during Vikramaditya's rule and he spent 11 years in India. Fahian spent 11 years in India. In which period? In the period of Vikramaditya's rule. So these are the important points about Vikramaditya. Vikramaditya's another name is Chandragupta II. So which are the important rulers of the Gupta dynasty? Chandragupta first, after that is Samudragupta, after that Chandragupta II. He was also known as Vikramaditya. Chandragupta's another name is Vikramaditya. And Kalidasa was the important poet of Vikramaditya's court. He wrote one play that is Shakuntalam and some other poetic works also there. And they were Megha-Sandesham, Raghuvamsham and Kumara-Sambhavam. Next, Akbar the Great. Akbar the Great. Have you heard about the king Akbar? And he was also one of the famous ruler of India. And Akbar was one of the famous rulers of India. And he was the greatest emperor of the Mughal dynasty. He was the greatest emperor. Emperor means a male ruler of an empire. A male ruler of an empire is known as emperor. Empire means kingdom. So the male ruler of an empire is known as emperor. Akbar was the greatest emperor of the Mughal dynasty. Which dynasty? Mughal dynasty. Babur invaded India in 1526 and set up the Mughal dynasty. Babur attacked India in which year? In 1526. 1526. Babur attacked India and established or set up the Mughal dynasty. Which dynasty? Mughal dynasty. So the Mughal control was not strong until Akbar came to the throne. So until Akbar came to the royal power, up to that much time, the Mughal dynasty was not at all too much strong. So the Mughal control was not strong until Akbar became the royal power. Akbar became the ruler. Akbar was born in 1542 in Sindh, when his father Humayun had lost his throne. So Akbar was born in 1542 in Sindh. So when his father Humayun had lost his throne. Humayun recaptured the throne in 1555. 1555. Humayun recaptured. Recaptured means retake. So Humayun recaptured the throne, the royal power in which year? 1555. So but he died in the same year and Akbar took over at the early age of 13 years. Akbar became the royal power or became a king at the age of 13 years. In which year? 13 years. Okay, 13 years. So the boy king was surrounded by enemies. So the boy king was surrounded by enemies. His tutor means private teacher. Tutor means private teacher. What was the name of his tutor? Bairam Khan. Which one? Bairam Khan. And he became his guardian. So Bairam became Akbar's which one? Guardian. And Hemu was the worst enemy of Akbar. Hemu was the chief enemy of the Akbar. And Bairam Khan defeated and killed Hemu in the battle at Panipat. So Hemu was the most important or most serious enemy of the Akbar. Bairam means the private teacher of the Akbar, the tutor of the Akbar. And he defeated and killed Hemu in the battlefield at Panipat. The battlefield at Panipat. Panipat is in Haryana. Akbar became the ruler at the age of 13 years old. Akbar became the ruler at the age of 13 years old. So as he grew up, Akbar fought many wars and conquered many kingdoms. So as he grew up, Akbar fought many wars. He conducted many wars and conquered and captured many kingdoms. And his kingdom extended over the whole of North India. Akbar's kingdom extended over the whole of North India. Akbar was a great soldier and a conqueror. Akbar was a great soldier and a conqueror. Conqueror means someone taking control of country in war. Someone taking control of country in a war is known as conqueror. And he was also a great administrator. Akbar was also a great administrator, a great manager or a great head of the department. And he ruled the country with the goodwill of all its people. He ruled the country with the goodwill of all its people, all the welfare of the people. So he was able to establish and rule a vast and strong empire. So he was able to establish or set up and rule a vast and strong empire because his aim is the welfare of the people. So Akbar also a good warrior and a good good administrator, and he ruled the country with the goodwill of its people. So he was able to set up and rule a vast and strong empire. There are many stories about Akbar's bravery. There were many stories about Akbar's courage, boldness. Once he killed a tigress with his sword. And once he killed a tigress. Tigress means a female tiger. Tigress means a female tiger. Once he killed a female tiger with a sword. He liked hunting and sports. His hobbies was which one? Hunting and sports. Hunting and sports. Although Akbar was a devout Muslim, he respected all religions. Although Akbar was a devout Muslim. Devout means showing deep religious feeling. Devout means showing deep religious feeling. Showing deep religious feeling is known as which one? Devout. So although Akbar was a devout Muslim, he respected all religions. He collected the good points of all religions and founded a new religion called Din Ilahi. So he collected the good points of all religions. He collected the good points of all religions and he founded a new religion. What was the name of his new religion? Din Ilahi. Din Ilahi was the new religion of Akbar. And he did not differentiate between the Hindus and the Muslims. He did not differentiate. He did not differentiate between the Hindus and the Muslims. Both the Hindus and the Muslims were among Ashoka's favorite people in the court. Both Muslims and Hindus were among Akbar's favorite people in the court. Favorite means considering equal, regarded with a special favor or liking. It is known as favorite people. So Birbal was one among them. Birbal was one of the favorite people favorite people in the court of Akbar. Birbal was one of the favorite people in the court of Akbar. Akbar's empire was not only strong and powerful but also peaceful. Akbar's empire was not only strong and powerful but also peaceful. There were very less wars, fewer wars. There were fewer wars. Fewer means very less wars. He liked peaceful. Peace prevailed everywhere. Peace prevailed or exists everywhere. Peace exists everywhere in his country. The farmers, the traders and all the others lived comfortably. So in his country, in his empire, in Akbar's empire, all the people, the farmers, the traders and all other people lived comfortably, peacefully. People became richer. He respected all religions. He respected all religions equally. For these reasons we call him Akbar the Great. For these reasons we call him Akbar the Great. Why we call Akbar the Great? Because his empire was not only strong and powerful but also peaceful. His empire was peaceful and there were very few wars. There were very less wars. Peace prevailed everywhere. Peace existed everywhere. All the people, the farmers, the traders and all the people lived there comfortably or peacefully. People became richer. He respected all religions. Because of these reasons, Akbar, we call him Akbar the Great. Because of these reasons, we call him Akbar the Great. So it was very important point. Why Akbar called Akbar the Great? Why we call Akbar the Great? What was the reason for that? And Akbar's empire was very strong and powerful and peaceful. And his empire was not only strong and powerful but also peaceful. And there were very less wars. There were very less wars. And peace existed everywhere. Peace existed everywhere. The farmers, the traders and all the people lived there comfortably, peacefully. And the people became richer. He respected all religions. He respected all religions. Because of these reasons, we call him Akbar the Great. Because of these reasons, we call him Akbar the Great. Then, who were the important rulers of Mughal dynasty? First one, Babur. After that, Humayun. Then, Akbar. Then, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. First one, Babur. After that, Humayun. After that, Akbar. Then, Jahangir. Then, Shah Jahan. Then, Aurangzeb. These are the important rulers of Mauryan Mughal dynasty. These were the important rulers of Mughal dynasty. Which dynasty? Mughal dynasty. Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. These were the important rulers or kings of Mughal dynasty.